Hello, everybody. I'm Michael Monaco.
And I'm Bobby Salveson, and we are the Hazmat Guys, bringing you the knowledge and insight to make your job a little bit easier.
Before we get into the show, let's thank today's sponsors.
The Hazmat Guys would like to thank our sponsor, Rigaku Analytical Devices. Rigaku Analytical Devices reduce fluorescence interference when identifying unknown chemicals using the 1064 advantage of the Progeny Rescue. Visit rigakuanalytical.com to learn more.
HazSim training systems have been in use across North America since 2011. Hazmat teams, firefighters, confined space specialists, and industrial safety trainers alike have found the value in the HazSim Pro system. HazSim brings real information-based decision-making to students from instructors safely and realistically. No more burning up sensors or pretending a 3x5 card is a meter in training. Visit hazsim.com for realistic training solutions.
We are here at the Cold Zone in Minneapolis.
No. Where are we?
Minneapolis.
Yes.
This is like a running joke that I keep forgetting this. Yeah. So we're in Mississippi this morning.
Mississippi, right.
And me and Mike are here with Toby Frost. Who are you?
So I'm a captain Lafayette Fire in Indiana, and I'm a team leader on the hazmat team.
Cool.
And kind of aid up with the fire department. I do technical rescue and dive and water rescue and Indiana Task Force 1. Just can't get enough of the stuff.
Nice. Like a fellow nerd.
right. A little well-rounded everything.
Yeah.
That's great. So what were you here teaching? What were you doing?
So I'm teaching a couple classes. I'm doing one on meth labs and one on synthetic drug labs. You know, we got the trend with all the synthetic cannabinoids and the fentanyl and bath salts, all that kind of stuff.
Huge, right?
Talking about that a little bit. And then another one just on training ideas, trying to spice up your training in the fire department.
Nice.
I like that. That's the training
move.
ideas is always something that's right up our alley. What is the latest trend in the drug world?
So, you know, meth has lost the headlines. You're not hearing about it much, but the meth lab seizures, and more particular meth seizures, has not gone down. It's going up, actually. But what you're hearing a lot about are gray and pink. Have you guys heard about that stuff? Gray death and pink?
No.
And so those are becoming these cocktails, all these synthetic opioids. So you're getting stuff like fentanyl and the different varieties of fentanyl mixed with heroin. And now they're throwing in, the newest one on the market is this U47700, which is a synthetic cannabinoid about 7.5 times as strong as morphine.
And what is a cannabinoid?
I'm sorry, I said cannabinoid. Opioid.
Okay.
Opioid. So they're mixing this cocktail together and selling it as a drug on the street. So you really don't know. I mean, if you look at like carfentanil, the lethal dose is only like 3 micrograms. It's such a small quantity. So how can a street level dealer cut it, mix it, and not give you a hot load? So that's why we're getting all these ODs. Now they're throwing other stuff in the mix.
Just to
this
bulk
cocktail.
it up, right?
Yeah, everybody wants their own little brand of chemical, right? Oh, you're going to come buy pink from me because it was a great high. Well, I'm going to add this. It'll be better. And they don't really know what they're mixing. They're buying it from China or India or wherever and just mixing it.
Put brake fluid or whatever the hell they put into it.
Yeah, whatever.
And now little white girls are dying, so it's making the news.
Yeah.
That's what it really comes down to.
That's what it all boils down to.
Sensational now.
It is.
So, I mean, are you saying that there's more production, or is there more seizures? Like, are they getting away with it?
Well, you're seeing a little bit of both. So, the Mexican cartels and stuff, they're seeing a lot of imported meth, especially in big cities now.
Right.
It's getting harder. Some of the cities are starting to regulate that in order to get sufedrin, you got to show an ID or you got to get prescription,
Right.
stuff like that. Well, that's making it harder to make meth. Well, the demand for meth hasn't gone away. So either you buy it, and the problem is the cartels are competing with heroin, which is so dirt cheap, especially like the Midwest,
Right.
that they're willing to sell it dirt cheap to take that market share more or less.
So is there any push with the new Trump administration to bring meth production back to the United States?
Bring meth production.
Make America great again.
Make America great again.
Yeah. I haven't heard that one yet, but I'll keep my eye on it.
We seen they repackage the propane, the 20-pound propane cylinders with the ammonia. Mm-hmm. So you'll see that discoloration. But now the trend is not even using that. What are they using the propane cylinders for? It was another chemical. I should have prepared for this because I remember it was something else that they were using it to transport in order to. It was something with the BHO production. What are they using? Benzene.
Benzene.
They're using it to produce benzene. So they're packing these 20-pound cylinders with benzene. And so, have you seen that?
We haven't. And we're not really seeing the hash oil around us because you still can't get marijuana legally. So, I mean, the whole thing with BHO is I can buy the scraps for next to nothing, and then I can process it, get my oil out of it,
make a shake or whatever you're gonna do.
Yeah, and so it's easy around here. It's still hard to get. Or I shouldn't say it's hard to get marijuana, but it's a premium, so people aren't willing to buy the scraps. They want the prime.
They want the actual.
And so there's no real market for it. I mean, people are buying the oil wholesale online or whatever.
From Colorado or wherever they've.
Yeah. So it's just not a big market around us. But, we're seeing a huge influx of this heroin, fentanyl, or some deviation, the carfentanil, some of the other ones. That's really what you're seeing. And the scary thing is that those are street-level people mixing it. And so, you give somebody Narcan and they recover a little bit. Well, with heroin, one Narcan, you're good to go. Now with somebody who's got carfentanil and heroin mixed, it's taking 6 and 8 doses, and they're crashing again before you even get to the hospital. And so it's just, people are getting hot loads, they just don't realize it.
Are you finding that they're using more of the fentanyl synthetically produced or trafficked from a legal source, or how do you find it?
It's relatively complicated to make it. You can make it. There's recipes out there. You can find out how to make it, but it's relatively high-level chemistry.
Yeah.
So your street tweaker's not going to make fentanyl. It takes chemicals that are hard to get. It takes significant lab wear. It takes some time. I mean, you're looking at 8 hours to 8 days, depending on what recipe you're using. Now I can buy it online. You do a Google search. It's kind of scary. I looked this morning. Actually, I can buy a kilogram of fentanyl for $5,000 from China, and they guarantee delivery in the U.S. And you can pick your delivery method.
Job.
And so if you take that $5,000 investment, you put it in pills, and you don't kill anybody. You put the proper dosage.
Yeah.
You're looking at $2 million in profit.
And that's not even. I don't even want to get into this. Don't get any ideas, you jerks. Is that there's like the black web? There's the. Do you ever hear about that? The whole black web,
so
where there's the
whole dark web thing, where
dark web.
it's all not traced, and it's harder to. You don't even have to just Google it. Just Google
it's out there.
fentanyl, and I guarantee you'll get 3 hits for somebody selling it overseas. And the class I'm teaching tomorrow, I'm actually going to pull up some web pages I pulled up this morning, and they even tell you what's coming next. Because the whole game with the synthetics is, okay, if you make this chemical illegal, I tweak the chemical structure a little bit.
No longer illegal.
And then it's legal now until you tweak it again. It's the way our drug rules work. You have to have a reproducible chemical structure to make a drug. Same thing goes to make that drug illegal. And so if I make this particular drug illegal, I add another functional group to it, it's a new drug. Well, the scary thing is chemists in China or India are just adding crap to the backbone. There's no testing, there's no lab work, but science can predict what's going to happen, but it's not been tested.
No kidding.
And so they just change the chemical structure a little bit, and then it's a totally legal drug. And
until proven
otherwise.
Wow,
that's crazy.
That's like the U47700 is just had an emergency relatively recently.
What is the U47700?
It's the opioid.
Okay.
It's a lot like fentanyl.
Okay.
It's 7.5 times stronger than morphine. It's not a fentanyl group. It's a different chemical, but they just did emergency scheduling of that to make it illegal until they can go through the process to make it permanently illegal. So.
And have you? Are you seeing fentanyl scenes? Are you guys making entries into fentanyl scenes?
So far it's mostly been law enforcement, and like I said, nobody's making it, but they're cutting it. So I buy the fentanyl, and then I mix it with my heroin or whatever. And so what's happening is PD is going into these mixing operations or these pill pressing operations with no PPE. And so that's where the DEA, recently the DEA agents got OD'd, the drug dogs got OD'd on fentanyl. Carfentanil absorbs very quickly through your skin. So in Indiana recently there was a bust, and when the crash team entered, the guys mixing it threw the crap in the air in a panic, and 2 officers got
now they're huffing
ODs,
it in, right?
yeah.
So would you say that the transdermal issue is bigger than the inhalation? I mean, if we do the proper PPE,
if we do the proper PPE, you should be okay.
What do you think the proper PPE on that is?
Well, So the crash teams, you're looking at respiration protection and skin protection. As far as us going in to rescue people, at minimum, I think you're looking at level B. I personally was going encapsulated B or level A.
Why? Just to keep it off your skin?
Well, you don't want to take it out either. That's the scary part. So I wear my air pack in a B, let's say. You're helping the cops process a scene, you're air monitoring, you get on your air pack. You walk out, there's no exposure, don't mess with decon, you throw it back on the rig. Next guy gets it, and he brushes the skin against it. And then he gets a dermal exposure to the fentanyl. Next thing you know, he's crashing out.
And what is the symptomology of it? Is it respiratory depression?
Yep. So,
CNS dissociation, that kind of stuff?
All that kind of stuff. So it's like an OD on heroin. I mean, that's what you're looking for. And so, the DEA now is recommending when these guys bust these operations, when they know they're going into that situation, they carry Narcan with them. Because it's going to be a matter of treating the guy till you can get him to the hospital. Because if it's carfentanil or some of the other derivatives, you're looking at something that is 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times stronger than morphine, and they're going to crash. So it's not something that one dose is going to fix. They're going to be stuck on a drip, treated in the hospital. It's going to take a while.
Wow, that's
a great tailboard talk is the DEA put out a video about a couple officers that OD'd on a drug scene, and it was just they sealed a baggie with the sample in it, and the guy squeezed the air out. Both of them got a whiff of it, and both of them OD'd. Both ended up hospitalized.
How quickly?
It's pretty quick.
It's pretty quick.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at it, so if carfentanil, lethal dose is 3 micrograms. Less than a grain of salt is a lethal dose.
I was going to say that's kind of like 2 grains or 3 grains.
It's less than 1 grain.
Holy cow.
And so, if you look at fentanyl, you're looking at about 3 or 4 grains of salt is a lethal dose. Carfentanil is even less. It's 100 times stronger. So, I mean, you're very small quantities.
Now, we've been in arguments back and forth with people. And we know that we did the research on the fentanyl and the time it takes for the transdermally to go through the skin and stuff like that, and it really wasn't that significant. I mean, it was there.
Right.
Inhalation's big.
Inhalation's,
right. It was definitely
no question, it's going to get in way faster.
So is there lab tests that show how quick carfentanil travels transdermally?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
And part of the problem is that if you look at some of the fentanyl derivatives, they're so strong. There was no human application as a pharmaceutical, so no research was pursued.
Nothing to perspective against. And
I mean, you look at carfentanil, they use it for elephants. I mean, it's a massive tranquilizer. Well, then you get stuff that's 10 times, 100 times stronger than that. There was no consumer value to it, so the pharmaceutical companies didn't research it. Nope, too strong, move on, something different.
But these kids are using it, and they weigh a tenth of the weight of the elephant.
Right. And that's, with all these synthetics, that's the problem. It's all came out of legitimate research. This is not, until recently, it all came straight out of legitimate research. There was no commercial value to it, so the pharmaceutical companies shelved it. So these chemical companies pull the research right off the shelf, make it, and now we've got this whole new generation that is where people are just randomly, well, if I put it here, it should increase the stimulant effect, or it should increase the hallucinogenic effect.
They're tweaking it.
They're tweaking it, but there's no testing. It's just based on.
Do they know what they're
science.
doing chemically? Do you think are they shooting, throwing the shit against the wall and seeing what sticks? Or do you think they're engineering, like they're focusing?
You're
on
seeing
this?
a lot of people that are classically trained in chemistry or pharmaceuticals that work for these Chinese companies. A lot of them American educated, so it's based on good science. However, there's no testing, there's no long-term studies, all that kind of stuff we have to have for medication. I know that if I put this functional group on this node, I'm going to increase this effect. Now, am I going to increase it by 5 or 10? I don't really know that. Or 100.
Don't care.
You don't care, right? I've got a new product I can sell, and I skirted the law again.
Attention Hazmat Nation, class is in session. FLIR, a global leader in CBRNE detection solutions, has recently announced a new educational resource named FLIR Primed. Primed is a free online tool that provides first responders with training videos, best practices, field checklists, and street truth. Throughout the initial 10-episode video series, Grant Coffey, a retired fire and rescue hazmat team coordinator and CBRNE expert of nearly 40 years, delivers industry insights and real-life experiences that keep first responders prepared. In addition, each episode concludes with a free field checklist or downloadable guide that responders can use immediately, like the Prime training poster that covers these key actions of prepare, recognize, input, monitor, experience, and decision. You can watch it now by visiting www.fleer.com/primed.
One of these companies was interviewed by an undercover news agent out of England, and they told her in the interview, "Oh, a lot of our clients will give us the new formulas ahead of the law." So they'll send them the chemical formula and say,
Because they
"Make
want
this
it that
formula."
bad.
Yeah.
That's
Wow.
crazy.
That is
Wait,
crazy.
Where do you see this going? Do you think they're going to, it was 1, now it's 10x, and now it's 100x, and now it's 1000x. Do you see, I mean, I can't imagine it going past it. I mean, there's going to be a certain point where you can't even, as the user, I can't even be in the room with it without a hammer in me.
If you look at the people in the U.S. historically that have made, like, let's just say fentanyl, for example, they get caught because there's this massive increase in ODs. And so they know there's a source, and you can track it through history. So, in '88 there was a guy on the East Coast that was making it, and there was like 130 ODs. They bust him, they flatline, no more. Then they caught the guy in Wichita because of all these ODs. Then they bust him and it goes away. Then the guy in Mexico, they catch him, bust him, goes away.
So were they flying too close to the sun? Is that how they got caught?
They killed a bunch of people, and so there was a pattern associated, and so they traced it back to a lab, eventually back to the guy who was making it.
But
The
now we have
problem
nationally.
now you're buying it from a company in China, and they literally have like trade shows. You can go to Hong Kong, go to a trade show, and they call them research chemicals. But even if you go to their webpage, it'll say this is similar to, but it's not for human consumption. It's a research chemical.
Right.
So they're just playing games to get around the law.
And this stuff basically looks like a little bit finer ground table salt, right? It's a little bit smaller, tiny.
Right. You can get, depending on what product, you can actually buy different colors. Like Flocka down in Florida is a big thing, right? Everybody's heard about Flocka. I can order pink, I can order blue, I can order clear. It's all the same chemical.
Oh my god!
But they'll actually color it. If you want to sell blue Flocka, they'll send you blue Flocka. And so
you just package it up and sell it off. We're seeing, at least where we live in Long Island, New York, we see a lot of heroin, tons and tons of heroin, and fentanyl's getting to be bigger. And we've had, like Mike was getting into before, about a discussion, and this is a discussion, I'll be honest with you, that is, whatever side you're on, you vehemently support it. And at least in New York, we have guys that say we are going to do level A entries. For any type of thing. And I understand the basis for it, because if they're going in to toss a scene, they're going to be kicking up fentanyl.
Right.
And I can understand that. But we, as firefighters, and we're on mission specific, maybe just a grab and run kind of thing, we're not really tossing a scene, we're not classified, we are saying we're going to wear like a dust suit and SCBA protection. And we get a lot of pushback. And what happens is we kind of come back to, well, the people that manufacture it don't wear level A's.
Right.
They're in a controlled situation. We're going in there in a semi-controlled. What do you think about that?
See, again, the bigger concern for me is somebody bringing it out of the scene. So if you're doing, let's say you're doing a dry decon, and you're stripping it off. Again, what if you got some on your pack, and the next guy checks his pack out in the morning?
So how do you get it off?
And
Is it polar? Is it miscible? How do you use alcohols to get it off?
Well, I think you're going to do like a wet decon. I don't think a dry decon is going to work. You're going to have to effectively decon it. So
soap and water?
Yeah. So the easy way around that would be an encapsulated B, encapsulated A.
Putting it on the inside, easier cleanup.
So easier cleanup. Now you're leaving all the residue on the outside. There's no chance of you transferring it, because again, obviously inhalation is a huge hazard. It's such a small dose, and a lot of this transdermal stuff has not been tracked to see what an effective dose is transdermally. So if it's not been tested, we're kind of in the wild, wild west. We don't really know what our exposure truly is.
Let's say you're decomming. I come in, I toss over a scene, and I have no idea, because I've never dealt with fentanyl or carfentanil scene yet. So I'm thinking, I come out, I stand in my pool, you give me a little rinse, you get all my chins, right, and my armpits and stuff like that. Now the gray water's in the tub. I would say we're going to put into a drum. Would you be leery of that water contact with people?
No, I at that point I wouldn't, because again we're looking at such a minute amount.
Dilution is a solution kind of
right,
thing on this.
Right. I mean, because what you're looking for, if you could see it, obviously that's going to be a massive dose. What's scary is what you can't see. And because it takes so little, especially like carfentanil or some of the other stuff, you want to just make sure you're not taking that out with you. So,
Can you repeat the lethal dose?
It's also called a lifetime supply.
Or the lifetime supply, yes. What would the lifetime supply of the carfentanil? What did you say it was?
3 micrograms.
3 micrograms.
Yeah.
So I just looked up real quick because I wasn't sure. The lethal dose for a 200-pound man for sarin is 90 micrograms.
Oh my God.
So if it's because sarin, the according to this fangled internet, was 0.1 micrograms per kilogram. A 200-pound man brings you to 90 micrograms or 0.9 milligrams. So that means that this carfentanil stuff is more powerful than sarin
At killing people.
at killing people.
And there has been discussion of classifying this family of chemicals as a WMD.
Well, I was just going to say,
imagine
because
if I hate
can
to
I
say this,
powder
but-
this and get it into a subway
Because if you
system?
put it in a grist mill and you make this fine enough to a talcum powder, and then go, throw it up in the air, and 200 people walk through this thing, you're killing 200
I
people.
think we're going to see it at some point. I hate to say that, but I think we're going to see it at some point. If somebody, it's easy to get, it's potent,
I
very
cannot
potent.
believe that.
Why is it
I'm almost
important?
potent.
Oh, potent. Impotent. I'm sorry. So,
That's-
I mean, so that brings a whole nother layer of, I mean,
Response.
yeah, we're in New York City, so we're constantly thinking of that mass. You know, somebody's going to do something, they're going to try it in New York, or Washington D.C. or one of these big places. But you get a mass crowd of overdose.
Yeah.
I mean,
Realistically,
you're going to
how
be
many
thinking
doses of Narcan
Atrapan,
can
right?
you get?
Right.
I mean,
And it comes down to, if I disable you, 2 people are going to have to render care that takes 3 people off the street, and it's...
And that could still be in the air. People aren't going to be masking up if they're
if I
looking at
touch him and
overdose.
he has it on
right?
him.
If they're looking at overdose symptoms, not sludge them.
Right, so
What-
it's going to throw people off the trail.
Right. What are the chances that somebody's going to recognize early off that I need to mask up to go get 20 people in a crowd?
See, and this is where the junkies are going to say, because I've been practicing with heroin, I'm
Right.
building up
They
tolerance.
should be the ones to go in.
They should
Yeah.
be the first line. They should be the first line of guys, because it's so trustworthy.
right.
Yeah.
They'll be rifling through their pockets.
This is not good.
we have a small conference in Indiana that I'm the chair of, and we had our WMD coordinator sent a special agent to talk to us about it. What I wanted was an update on current threats, like something like Dr. Christina Baxter used to do. That's what I was looking for.
Right.
They send this guy, and he's not really going down the avenue I want. He's, canned report. So I asked him point blank. I said, well, I heard that they're going to classify fentanyl as a WMD.
Well, you know what? Then I'm going to start it out with this. What's your interpretation of the greatest hazard? I know it's going to be regional, but if you're a responder, do you think that you're going to see a bigger trend in not even ODs, but responder likelihood of seeing the scene? Do you think BHO production, crank, methamphetamines, carfentanil, fentanyl, opioids, heroin, what do you think the people are going to be walking into the most often right now?
To me, as a hazmat officer and as guys responding, what scares me more than anything is somebody walking in blind to one of these mixing operations with one of these opioid derivatives, whether it's carfentanil or whatever, 47700, one of those, and not realizing it, whether you're there for a medical run, you're there for an investigation, and you're getting toxic exposure. And people not recognizing that it's an opioid, and you're going to need Narcan, you're going to need advanced treatment, and somebody dying on the scene because, I don't feel good, give me a minute, and then you crash.
And it's too late.
So-
and it's too late.
So what can we do to prevent that?
I think you just have to be aware of the situation. I mean, start looking at when you see somebody. In my department, the focus is always meth. Oh, it's meth or it's spice. Spice is another big one for us. Oh, they're making spice. They're making meth. Whatever. There's a lot of stuff out there that's way worse than that, and it's easy to get your hands on. And I think we're going to see an uptake in some of those. There have been 3 or 4 cases I'm aware of SWAT teams or drug crash teams getting toxic exposures to these synthetic opioids and ending up hospitalized, and luckily nobody's died yet. But I could think of 6 different officers, a couple dogs that had toxic exposures and had to be treated. And so
Wow.
small town USA, and you got somebody mixing heroin and carfentanil in their kitchen, and you show up because the guy passed out and his wife calls, and suddenly you got this white powder on the table. You don't even think about it.
So what should they be looking for as a first responder operations?
Let me ask you this: if we were to set up a training scenario, right? Would we set up, say, hey, go to these paper sites? Would you say go to YouTube? Would we set up a lab and say, guys, go in there? They're making carfentanil,
Well,
and have so they can show and tell it.
I think part of the problem is that they're not really cooking it. It's a mixing. So I have this packet of chemical, and it may or may not be labeled correctly, and they're mixing it with, whether they're cutting it with heroin or they're cutting it with something innocuous, whatever, and you're just not going to know. And part of the problem is that NARC kits aren't going to hit on it. That the blister packs the cops are using aren't going to hit on it, and you're forced to use higher end technology. There's no quick way of identifying it. If I take in a ramen unit, if it's in the library, I'm golden.
But if it's
something
new,
that's new, it's not going to be in the library, and you're not going to have any way of identifying that short of the high-end stuff, GC mass spec or
but then
something like
you're breaking apart bits. You're doing that.
Yeah,
you're doing
so
that, and you don't even know what the formula is.
And that's past 90%.
You're not going to do that on the
Right.
field, and most guys can't.
They can't
don't
even
have
do
that
it. They don't even have to turn it
capability.
on.
So that's what scares me. There's no easy way of identifying it.
I'm trying to think of how we can train the guys, like even with our budget. I would love to say, all right, we're going to set up a fentanyl mixing station so guys can come in and go, and when they see these triggers, they can do it. But is it necessary? Does it have to be done?
Is it really anything more than what you would see in like a cocaine distribution production, where you just literally have white powder on the table?
I think you would probably see, at least all those photos I have, is you see bags of chemical, either properly identified or misidentified. I've got some pictures of a lab where everything was in Chinese. So unless you knew, and when the officers busted the lab and they asked the people mixing it, what are you mixing? I don't know. I'm doing 3 parts of this, 1 part of this, and 1
They
part
don't
of
even know what
this.
they're doing.
They don't even know. They're just putting it together.
And what are they wearing?
So different. I've got pictures of guys wearing half-face respirators,
Like surgical mask kind of things?
Yeah, some of that. Some actual cartridge masks.
So low level
protection.
And they're going home at night.
Yeah, but I won't say it's controlled, but again, the danger comes in, like those 2 DEA agents when they busted it. The guy panicked and threw the stuff in the air, so it all got airborne. When it was on the table, it wasn't going anywhere. And these are big, heavy chemicals. But the concern becomes once it becomes airborne. They throw a flashbang in the room, and the guy panics, or it hits the table and blows the crap all over the room.
That's a problem.
And that's a problem. So, for us, if PD wasn't there and we're there for a med run, hopefully it's still a controlled environment. They got bags of chemical and they're mixing it. If you walk in and you see a pill press running, you're not likely to get a med run to a pill press because those are illegal to start with. So somebody's got a serious investment. They're not going to call you for help.
They're dragging the guy out.
Dragging the guy to the next door neighbor.
He's getting thrown in the drum in the backyard.
Listen, we have to do this again in the near future, because I'm sure that this is going to churn up a ton. Even in my own mind, I have follow-up questions that we're not going to get to on this episode.
So if you want to do a follow-up question, give us drop us an email at feedback@thehazmat guys, and reference this in the reference this interview. And I got a question for Toby, and we will make sure the next time we sit down, we will pass those questions on.
So Toby, toughest question of the day: where do our people find you?
So probably the best place to find me would be LinkedIn. Tobias Frost on LinkedIn. Hit me up, and I'll be glad to answer your questions that I can.
Tobias, Tobias.
Correct.
There you go.
Frost,
Very good.
just like Jack.
Like Frost Jack. don't look for Jack.
Don't look for Jack Frost.
Well, thanks a lot. I appreciate it, man.
Fentanyl
Thanks,
Jack.
guys.
Fentanyl Jack. They're gonna go give him ideas.
That's his other LinkedIn account.
Yeah.
We'll leave that one alone.
Yeah, leave that
talk
one
about
alone. That one's getting watched.
Well, that wraps up another episode of the Hazmat Guys.
You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and our YouTube channel at The Hazmat Guys. And take a moment to call our comment hotline at 843-628-1484.
We are always looking forward to your feedback about information or interesting incidents that you were part of. So send us a note at feedback@thehazmatguys.com.
And remember, guys, don't just get on the job, get into the job.